If you're over 40 and feel this deep, almost painful longing for a baby, whether it's a calling that started years ago and has only deepened with time, or one that surprised you by arriving later in life, this video is for you. Maybe you felt this pull in your 20s or 30s, but life circumstances, relationships, or timing just weren't aligned. Maybe you tried then, but it didn't happen, and now the calling has returned with an intensity that just takes your breath away. Or maybe this longing has been your constant companion for years, growing stronger and more insistent as you have gotten older. Whatever your story, what you're feeling isn't desperate, it's not delusional, it's not just your biological clock ticking, and it's definitely not too late. What you're experiencing is sacred communication from your soul. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why that calling has persisted or deepened now that you're in your 40s and what it's really asking of you. I'm Julie Jennings, and for 25 years, I have been working with women on their motherhood journey, especially those over 40. Some have felt this calling for decades. It started in their 20s or 30s, but circumstances weren't aligned, or they tried, but it didn't happen, and now they're facing the question of whether to keep going. Others discovered this longing later in life, often with surprising intensity. What unites all these women is that they have been told by well-meaning friends, family, and often doctors that they need to accept reality or just be grateful for what they have. But here's what I've learned from years of working with these women. That soul deep desire for a baby, whether it's been with you for years or arrived more recently, is not random. It isn't just hormonal, and it isn't a cruel joke from the universe. It's actually your soul remembering something ancient and powerful about who you're meant to become. And today, I want to walk you through exactly what that means and why your age might actually be the key to understanding why this calling has persisted or deepened now. Let's start by talking about what makes this calling different from just wanting a baby and why it often doesn't follow the timeline we expect. Because there's a difference between thinking it might be nice to have children and feeling like your soul is being pulled by an invisible force toward motherhood. You know the feeling that I'm talking about. Maybe it started when you were younger, perhaps in your 20s or 30s, but the timing wasn't right. Maybe you were building your career, hadn't met the right partner yet, or were dealing with other life circumstances. Maybe you did try then, but it didn't happen, and you thought the feeling would fade. But it didn't fade, did it? If anything, it has gotten stronger, more insistent, more impossible to ignore. Or maybe this calling surprised you by showing up later in life with an intensity that caught you completely off guard. You thought you had made peace with not having children, but suddenly this longing appeared and turned your world upside down. Whatever your story, there's something about being in your 40s that has amplified this calling. It is the longing that makes you stop breathing when you see a pregnant woman. It's what comes over you when you hold someone else's baby and feel like you're holding a piece of your own heart. It's the dream that visits you over and over again, where you're holding your child and the love is so intense it wakes you up. This isn't just desire, this is recognition. Your soul recognizing something it came here to experience, something it has been preparing for, something that feels like coming home to a part of yourself you didn't even know was missing. Now, here's something most people don't understand about how the soul communicates. The depth of what you feel is directly proportional to the significance of what's trying to unfold in your life. Your soul doesn't whisper about small things and scream about big ones randomly. When something comes through with this much intensity, when it refuses to be ignored, when it persists despite logic, despite statistics, despite everyone telling you to move on, it's because your soul is trying to get your attention about a transformation that is much deeper than you might realize. Think about it this way. If your soul just wanted you to have a nice hobby or make a small change, would it create this level of longing? Would it give you dreams so vivid they feel more real than your waking life? Would it make you feel like an essential part of you is missing? No. This level of calling only comes when your soul is preparing you for something that will fundamentally change who you are. And this brings us to something really important that I want you to understand. Your soul doesn't work on human timelines. It doesn't check your driver's license before sending you messages. It doesn't consult fertility statistics or cultural expectations about the right time to want children. Your soul works on sacred timing, timing that takes into account your spiritual readiness, your emotional capacity, your life lessons learned, and yes, the specific wisdom that only comes with having lived more years on this earth. So when you feel this calling at 40, at 42, at 45, or even 50, it's not because you're late. It's because now is when you're finally ready to receive what your soul has been preparing you for all along. But I know what you might be thinking right now. Okay, that sounds beautiful, but what about the practical reality? What about my age? What about all the voices telling me I should have done this years ago when I was younger? What about the guilt I feel for not making it happen earlier when it might have been easier? And let me address that head on, because this is where most women get stuck and where the real magic of understanding your age as an advantage begins. First, let's talk about the lie we have all been sold about age and fertility. We have been told that fertility is about being young, fast, and following a specific timeline. We have been told that 35 is a deadline, that 40 is risky, and that anything beyond that is basically impossible. But what if I told you that this narrative isn't just wrong, it's actually backwards? What if the reason your calling came to you now at this age is precisely because you needed to be this age to handle it? What if your soul waited until you had the wisdom, the emotional intelligence, the life experience, and the spiritual maturity to hold the full magnitude of what this transformation requires? Let me paint a picture for you. At 40 plus, you have things you didn't have at 25 or even 35. You have emotional intelligence that comes from gracefully handling life's challenges. You have intuition that's been honed by years of making decisions and learning from the consequences. You have boundaries that protect your energy instead of giving it away to anyone who asks. You have financial stability that most younger women don't have. You have career experience that gives you confidence in your abilities. You have relationship wisdom that helps you choose better partners and communicate more clearly. But most importantly, you have something that no amount of youth can give you: the ability to discern between what you want because you think you should want it and what you want because your soul is calling you toward it. At 25, when everyone around you is getting married and having babies, how do you know if your desire is authentic or just societal pressure? At 30, when you're building your career and trying to figure out who you are, how do you know if you're ready for the complete life transformation that motherhood requires? But at 40 plus, you know yourself. You have made mistakes and learned from them. You have tried things that didn't work and discovered what does. You have developed the kind of self-knowledge that makes authentic decisions possible. This is about your readiness, and it's not about your eggs or your hormones or your uterus. Readiness is about your capacity to hold transformation without being destroyed by it. It's about your ability to stay centered in uncertainty, to make decisions from wisdom instead of fear, to trust your inner knowing even when the whole world is telling you something different. And here's the thing about readiness: it doesn't come automatically with age. But for many women, it only comes through the wisdom and life experience that age brings. Some of us needed to live more life, to gather more tools, to develop more resilience before we were truly ready to become mothers in the way our souls intended. Think about it this way: you wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone who wasn't emotionally ready for partnership, right? Someone who hadn't done their own healing work, who didn't know themselves, who couldn't handle the responsibility and depth that real partnership requires. You'd want to wait for them to become the person who could truly show up for the relationship. Your soul baby feels the same way about you. They're not going to come to a mother who isn't ready to hold the full magnitude of what motherhood requires. They're waiting for you to become the woman who can handle the transformation, who has the emotional tools, who has done enough of our own work to be truly present for them. So when you feel that calling at 40 plus, your soul isn't saying, oh no, we're behind schedule. Your soul is saying, perfect. Now we're ready. Now you have the wisdom to navigate this journey without losing yourself. Now you have the emotional capacity to hold both hope and surrender. Now you have the life experience to trust that timing doesn't always look like what we expect. Your soul waited because it needed you to become the woman who could handle what's coming next, whether that's a baby, a spiritual rebirth, or both. Now you might be wondering, well, if this calling is so sacred and my age is such an advantage, what exactly is my soul trying to tell me? What's the deeper message behind this longing that feels so urgent and so important? Let me share with you what I have learned from years of working with women in exactly your position. When your soul sends you this deep calling for a baby, it's actually communicating on 3 different levels simultaneously. Most women only hear one level, usually the most literal one. But understanding all 3 is what allows you to navigate this journey with clarity instead of desperation. The first level is the most obvious. Your soul might genuinely be calling in a physical child. Your spirit baby might be in the unseen realm, working with your soul to create the perfect conditions for their arrival. This level is real. It's valid, and it's why you feel that specific longing for pregnancy, for birth, for holding your baby. But the second level is about you. Your soul is using this calling to initiate you into a deeper version of yourself, a version that can hold more love, more mystery, more trust in divine timing. This level is about becoming the woman who can navigate uncertainty with grace, who can want something deeply without being attached to a specific outcome, who can trust her inner knowing even when it doesn't make logical sense. The third level is about your purpose in the world. Sometimes the calling for a baby is actually a calling to serve in a maternal way, whether that's through literal motherhood, through mentoring others, through creating something that nurtures the world, or through becoming one who holds wisdom for the next generation. And here's the crucial part. It's not either or between these levels. Your soul calling can be operating on all 3 levels at the same time. You might be calling in a physical baby and being initiated into deeper wisdom and being prepared for a larger service to the world. This is why trying to figure out, am I going to have a baby or not, can feel so frustrating, because your soul isn't just working on that one outcome. It's working on a complete transformation of who you are and how you serve in the world. And this is why the waiting, the longing, the uncertainty, it's all part of the process. Your soul isn't torturing you with this desire. It's using the intensity of the longing to forge you into something new. Every month that you don't get pregnant, you develop more resilience. Every disappointment you navigate, you build more trust in your ability to handle whatever comes. Every time you choose hope over despair, you strengthen your connection to something bigger than your own timeline. The woman who emerges from this process, whether she becomes a mother or not, is not the same woman who began it. She is deeper, wiser, more connected to her own power, more trusting of divine timing, and more aligned with her soul's true purpose. And this is what I want you to really understand. Your soul isn't asking you to choose between having a baby and accepting that it won't happen. Your soul is asking you to become the woman who can hold both possibilities with equal grace. The woman who can say, I deeply want this baby, and I trust that whatever unfolds is exactly what my soul came here to experience. The woman who can pursue fertility treatments or donor eggs while also knowing that her worth, her purpose, and her completeness aren't dependent on the outcome. This is spiritual maturity, and it's something that often is developed by going through exactly this kind of soul forging process. Now, I know that understanding your calling is sacred and your age is an advantage is just the beginning. The real question is, how do you actually live from this knowing? How do you make practical decisions about your fertility journey from this place of wisdom instead of fear? And this is why I created the 40 plus Heart-Womb Fertility Checklist. It's designed specifically for women like you who are ready to stop chasing and start listening, who want to align their fertility path with what truly supports their energy, clarity, and womb wisdom. This isn't a list of things you should be doing. It's a mirror to help you see what matters most so you can make calm, confident choices. It covers everything from nourishing your body in a way that feels supportive rather than restrictive, to restoring your nervous system, to reconnecting with your womb's wisdom. The checklist helps you identify 1 or 2 areas to focus on right now instead of trying to change everything at once, because sustainable transformation happens through gentle, consistent steps, not through overwhelming yourself with a massive to-do list. You can download the 40 plus Heart-Womb Fertility Checklist completely free using the link in the description below. Tomorrow, I'll be releasing a special podcast transmission that takes everything we explored today even deeper into the energetic and somatic experience. If this video resonated with you on a soul level, that transmission will help you feel the truth of your calling in your bones, not just understand it mentally. You can find the link to that podcast in the description below as well. Remember, it won't be released until tomorrow, so it won't be active if you're watching this video in real time. And for those of you who feel called to go even deeper, who want ongoing support in living from this wisdom, who are ready for complete transformation rather than just tips and tools, this is exactly why I created the Heart Portal Foundation Circle. Foundation Circle is a transformational journey designed exclusively for women over 40 whose calling has been a part of their journey for years or has emerged with surprising intensity at this stage of life. We work together to help you use your age and all your accumulated wisdom as your advantage. You develop practices that keep you connected to your spirit baby's guidance. You transform your relationship with uncertainty from something that tortures you into something that excites you. Most importantly, you stop living as if your worth depends on outcomes, and you start living as the ready, wise, powerful woman you have become, regardless of what manifests. You can find all the details by clicking the link in the description below. But whether you're ready for Foundation Circle or you're just beginning to explore this new understanding of your calling and your age, start with the free checklist. It will help you see exactly where you are right now and what deserves your attention first. Because transformation doesn't happen through force or overwhelm. It happens through gentle, consistent alignment with what your soul is calling you forward. Your soul wouldn't give you this calling if you were not meant to follow it. Trust that. Trust yourself, and trust that whatever unfolds is exactly what your soul came here to experience. Your calling is real, your timing is perfect, and your journey is sacred. Your wisdom is your superpower. Your age is your advantage. Your calling is sacred. Let's honor it together.